To make everyone's life easier, I will call it vehicle. This vehicle is one of those which look completely terrible on paper, but in practice it does miracles. Very often you will run into an enemy group and destroy all of them in a matter of seconds. Very often enemy players will run into you because they cannot notice you. So why does this vehicle look so bad in theory? Let's review the characteristics first. If you look at the gun's caliber, it says 28 and 20mm. It's a squeeze bore gun where gun's diameter decreases towards the muzzle. Without going into details, it's quite similar to subcaliber shells you should already know from previous video. It's a way to propel a smaller diameter projectile with more explosives behind it, resulting in faster velocity and more penetration. This projectile reaches 1.4 km per second speed and over 90 mm of penetration in close range. It also has the same weakness, creating less spalling after penetrating armor. This means that everything that is not located directly on shell's path probably won't be damaged. Vehicle is very fast, even considering the fact that most of other tanks you'll face will be light tanks. In fact, it is so fast and wheels are so responsive that sometimes it will be difficult to move the direction you want. The rest of characteristics are not very optimistic. Minimum gun's reload speed 3 seconds. Shorter than most similar BR vehicles, but a lot compared to some 20mm guns which are autocannons able to shoot few hundred of shots per minute. Gun's vertical guidance is 20 degrees up and 10 degrees down, which is good and comfortable, but horizontal guidance is limited to 20 degrees to each side, which can be an issue considering that it's a wheeled car that must move forward in order to turn hull. That can result in moving out of cover to be able to align your gun on a target. Armor is extremely poor, reaching a maximum of 14.5mm. You should be playing just like there is no armor, because this is not going to protect you. Additionally, there are only 2 crew members inside, and knocking out one of them will be fatal. At first glance, you don't have much firepower, limited guns traversion, no armor and no survivability. But that still ended up being one of the best vehicles I've ever played. I was able to hide in a plain sight and engage only when I had the upper hand over the situation. Despite this review will be flooded with all the difficulties you'll face in any match, don't let them confuse you. I assure you, once you adapt to your disadvantages, you will feel that you are the one controlling the battlefield, deciding when and where someone gets destroyed or which point will be captured next. Realistic is where this vehicle belongs. It might feel that realistic is super dangerous for such vehicle. If any of the crew members dies, all vehicle is destroyed. The truth is, enemies won't shoot at what they cannot see. Tier 1 tanks are usually quite small, but this is a new level of small. You can cover most of your front with a palm leaves decoration. Smallest bushes, stands, fences will serve you as cover, drastically increasing the amount of good positions you can use to hide. In addition to that, the shape of this car naturally blends in cities. As long as you don't move or shoot, it's very likely that enemies will just pass you by without noticing. If you want to be more effective with this vehicle, you must pay much more attention on hit camera. Since your post-penetration effect is so small, you are required to pinpoint every crew member. Smaller than average reload speed doesn't mean that you can just spray your shots at the same area and hope that spalling will kill everyone around the impact point. Most of the time you will need to hit crew members at the turret and at the front hull where drivers are located. Especially difficult are truck-based SPAA. If you fail to disable them quickly, there will be a cloud of bullets coming your way. Considering that your gunner is almost unprotected, that won't end up well. The same goes for engaging tanks who just missed their main round. Machine gun poses the same threat. so you won't be able to catch them between reloads. Precisely disabling enemy crew members before they aim to your position is critical. Just in case it still feels too easy, planes will be a serious threat. Just by trying to mark you for their team, planes can destroy you. But once again, only if they notice you. I've never attracted attention by standing still, and even if you do get noticed, it's easy to lose them by blending between buildings or rocks. In most situations, you don't want to engage planes with a main gun, but sometimes it just feels good to punish someone who thinks he can carelessly attack others. Artillery fire is the reason why I don't recommend to capture points, at least at the beginning of a match, when everyone has it available. If the message appears, it means that you must get out of here right now. Even few inaccurate shells that explode nearby before the main barrage will often send you to hunger. In arcade, you have way less control over the battlefield, because everyone will know your position, and that will be a problem. Your only noticeable advantage is your projectile speed. That means that you are much more effective than any other similar BR tank at shooting distant moving targets, and you are still slightly faster than the rest of the tanks. This can be used to quickly take a sniping position with a good overview and shoot as much bullets as you can at approaching enemies. But sooner or later comes a moment when they start shooting back, and it doesn't matter how much penetration their shells lose over distance, disengaging is the only option if you plan to survive longer. Anyone can penetrate you, and only 2 crew members means that you won't live long. If you were lucky not to die after the first hit, usually it's either gunner or driver is knocked out, meaning that even if you survive, that you won't be able to move or shoot until crew replenishment completes. Stay under cover and preferably play hull down to minimize your exposure. These are the only things that will protect you against shells. Despite that, probably you will still be able to have more kills than deaths, mostly because there are plenty of unexperienced players at this tier. This vehicle really stands out of the crowd of usual tanks, and is a great vehicle for those who already got bored at tier 1 or just want to try different gameplay without researching higher tier vehicles. This review came into life just because you had balls to write and like the vehicle you want to see in the comments. Lepzsbwgsbzb41 Sd.Kfz.221